the agenda of the regular meeting of the City Commission of Rio Grande City. It's Wednesday, June 10th, 2015, and it is 6:08 in the afternoon, and we're at 101 South Washington Street in Rio Grande City. I'm gonna ask Mr. Salinas to lead us in a prayer, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Jones to lead us in the pledge.
Bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here today. We ask you to clear our minds, our busy schedules, to make the best decision for our people. We ask you to bless everybody present here and their families. Pray for the hungry, the homeless. We pray for all those that are ill, that you bless them and bring them to their cure. Lord, in your holy blessed name we pray.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the flag that pledges allegiance to the United States under God, one indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, Mr. Salinas. We'll move on to roll call and finding of a quorum.
Mayor Pro Tem Garza,
Here.
Commissioner Salinas,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Mayor, you got a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move, did we have anybody sign up for public forum?
Did anybody sign up for public forum? Because I know somebody got a sheet.
No, we have no public forum.
No, sir.
Departmental reports, they should be here. Anything that we need to add to, I know that we had asked for a report on the brush pickup and I don't know if anybody's got anything on.
Mr. Guerra is present. I know that we talked about it. He contacted Allied Waste. He actually followed Allied Waste on their brush control process, and he does have reports.
Yes, sir. On May the 15th, Mayor, through the 28th, we've had one single truck working, on the west side of town. For the 29th, is sending two trucks, to help the other truck around on the areas. On June the 1st, he sent 6 roll-offs, to the 14A to the Southfield and of the 6 roll-offs, for them to complete the route, finish the routes, and until June the 2nd, they had only one truck working there. So that's my report that I have for these people.
Were we able to do pretty good on the pickup of the brush?
Yes, so they completed almost everything. On the 15th of this month, we have a citywide cleanup of what's going to happen.
That's on the what?
The 15th, we're going to get started.
On the
with
15th.
citywide cleanup. Yes, sir.
Citywide cleanup.
The citywide cleanup, yes, sir, Mayor.
Very well.
Fernando, can you detail what is involved in the citywide cleanup for, our residents to know what you're going by and what's going to get picked up?
Yes, ma'am. On the citywide cleanup, we issue study pickup, start taking all the alleys out. It's not going to get, it's only brush by itself, it's going to be lumber, it's going to be water heaters, all types of debris goes into that citywide cleanup and brush, you name it, grass. It's see out there they're going to take, for exception of tires. We don't pick up tires, batteries, that's incrimination material, so that's the only thing.
Is that going to be advertised, so we got to notify the citizens, maybe put out some things they might not want so they can get picked up? Like you mentioned, old boilers, maybe microwaves, something might not be workable or working that they might, set out to the curb so that we can pick it up, or the city can pick it up?
I wanted to get together with our city channel and put it on TV.
Yes, I think we need to notify them so they can prepare, right?
And remind them that if they're gonna get rid of any old refrigerators or freezers, that they need to,
Yes,
they need to get rid of the pre-owned.
I'd only recommend just on my behalf, anywhere where we're picking up brushes, we can be able to just knock on doors have somebody knock there and see, if, you know, whatever else they need, you know, but more than likely what we're looking at the city is, we go, we clean up, and by the following day it's the same, so, you know, I know it's hard, you know, we're short-staffed, but, you know, we need to basically kick it in a little bit more to try to, you know, educate the people, you know, that once the brush is picked up, it's not gonna be picked up for another while.
Right, right.
And how many city cleanups are there scheduled
We
for?
have 4 citywide cleanup and July for quarterly basis.
For,
Yes.
any questions to Public Works Director, Mr. Guerra? Okay.
Do we have anything we need to add to the departmental report?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, I do want to list out some departments that, you know, have been working on several issues. I know the fire department has been working with the county to make sure we get a declaration of disaster because of the recent rains and storms. Friday, you basically will have to be making a disaster declaration to submit to the state alongside with the other cities in the county. That would be the deadline to the state. We also have the Parks and Rec that started their Gus and Goldie. I think they have, they submitted a report. I went by it today. They had different classes going on for different ages. Everything was working in order. I think you have 60, Mr. Perales?
We have a total of 86 as of today for our session.
86 paid registrants to the Gus and Goldie, and the sessions are filling up. We've got 5 sessions of 2 weeks each session. The library, to make sure if you have a chance to go on Friday, they have the Friday Heroes. I don't see Ms. Foltz here, but they have their summer program going on, and every Friday will be to highlight a hero in the community. The Boys and Girls, as of today in attendance, this afternoon they had 130 kids, and part of them go to the swimming, they go to the sports, they're taking the photography, the literacy. They've got a schedule that's constant. If y'all have a chance to, please go by there. We will be scheduling our budgets throughout this month. This is the first initial contact with each department to submit the department requests. It seems like quite a bit along, you know, till October, but it's gonna get here pretty soon. You will get a schedule. Tomorrow, I know we have Parks in the morning and Public Works. I think we're looking in the afternoon, our department. So those are the schedules in the departments for the budget requests. We also have under the citywide reporting, Hollis Rutledge has submitted a report on some of the grants that they're working on. You have it with you. Do you have it, Mr. Rubin?
Want to read it or?
Just go down the list. You don't have to read it all.
Okay. Good afternoon, my name is Ruben Rodriguez, I represent Hollis Rutledge and Associates, and then before you have our status report as of today. We've, in Texas Criminal Justice Division, we successfully procured a $43,000 grant from the Texas Criminal Justice Division for the hiring of one drug trafficking officer this past fiscal year. This year, the same application template was used to try to get 2 officers in a vehicle, and we went to Zapata to listen to the COG distribution of funds, and unfortunately they did approve the application, but they weren't able to completely fund it. They're expected to fund around $40,000 or so. So maybe hopefully that'll pay for at least another officer. Texas Parks and Wildlife, we procured a $75,000 grant to build a skate park, and we're working on finalizing completed final steps to get ready to go out for bid. We also, a few months ago, applied for another grant for improvements to the Happy Bike Trail, and we're waiting for that decision at the end of the summer. U.S. Department of Justice, we secured a grant of
$13,000.
$13,000 for a bulletproof vest for the police department, and they're now submitting their request for reimbursement. We're also working on an economic development grant to U.S. Economic Development Agency. That application will be is due on Friday, and we should be submitting it probably tomorrow. This is for the development of the land across the street from Walmart.
is for the infrastructure improvements. That's what we're working on the application for. Also, the Texas Water Development Board, we're working with Texas Water Development Board staff and Mountain and Ham to submit an application to replace the Los Garcias water tower. And everything is progressing smoothly. We're just, that should be ready by the end of the month as far as submitting the application is concerned. And then we also, in December, submitted an application to FEMA for firefighters to replace their...
Excuse me. Los Garcias water tower, or was this water tower designated for the east side?
No, this is, we had an initial application where we had the east side water tower and the Garcias and the Hidalgo to rehab them. But the situation at the Garcias water tank became critical that we had to separate it and apply for a different a program fund with the Texas Water Development Board. The last meeting we went to Austin, they basically said, and I think one of their board members also came, I think we showed him the areas, Mr. Klein and I, and he went to go see the Garcias tower. That became a critical situation. That's being processed separately. The geotesting reports came in, and with that information, they were able to solidify and finalize the budget. We were looking at rehabbing it, but it costs just about the same, because if you can imagine a crane there on top of the hill on Los Garcias, taking off the top, bringing through the top the standpipe, which is the standpipe, the intake pipe is the one that's all corroded. That is basically almost having to redo it. So instead of coming back maybe 5 years later, having to do the bowl of the top of the tank, we might as well looking at replacing it completely, having a brand new tank.
Very good, okay.
And the last item on the report is our application to FEMA for the fire department to replace their brush truck. And those, we were waiting a decision on funding for that. Any questions?
Any question?
Good job.
All right, thank you very much.
One last thing, Mayor and Commissioners, is that we are working closely with the delinquent tax attorneys and our financial director, David Sines, municipal court. I know that 2,000 letters have gone out, and in the span of this past week, 2 weeks, we've received from those letters, particularly $4,000 already. So it's being effective. Unless y'all have any other questions, we do have the events of the Freedom Fest coming up, and we also have the Adrian Vidal event on Sunday, the Tijerina. If you all know the Cortinas battle, Adrian Vidal was a soldier under his command. He was adopted by Mifflin Kennedy, who was a local, community founder here. And the story goes that he was a soldier with the Confederate, a soldier with Union. Then he joined the Turistas against Maximiliano. He was captured. Mifflin tried to ransom, pay for his kidnapping, and then they basically put him on a boat, and in the middle of the river, he was shot. So there's I think it's the University of our, St. Mary's University, professors coming down, and they'll be doing this commemoration and kind of celebration of this local hero.
And this is gonna be fun?
On the 14th at La Tijerina, sir. It's a Sunday in the evening.
Very good.
And what time?
At 7?
7?
I think it's at 7. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. We're partnering with this university to continue doing research on some of our local characters and personalities and heroes that we were unaware of. I was completely unaware of this story myself. It's going to be interesting.
Anything else?
No, sir, unless you have any other questions on any other
They had
department.
brought up a couple of issues in the Arroyo area, that if we could help them out by mowing some of the roadsides inside that neighborhood. And also, they wanted to inquire as to the spraying of mosquitoes.
That is in high demand right now. Extremely. We just ordered another batch, and I know Abiel is busy. I know that Public Works has been out there. We just can't keep up with the high grass. but they'll eventually get to it. We just ask for patience. We do have a small public works crew, and they're all over the place. But,
We can work on that.
Get it
if those
scheduled.
Roadsides need some mowing, that'll alleviate a little bit of the mosquito. Anything else?
no, sir.
Let's move on to number 2, A and B. You all wanna take it together or separately?
So move we take it under consent?
If I might ask, I know that 2B, we had the EDC meeting, and their programs were presented. You all have the memo from our EDC director, Ms. Dalinda Guillen.
Take them separately?
It's just that we had some program guidelines and I think some information that I spoke today with our city attorney, and she had not had time to review them. So she asked if you approve them to be contingent on her review and getting back to Ms. Dalinda with any
Pending,
changes.
pending review.
I approve, I make a motion, we approve 2A, approval of departmental travel requests.
That's gonna motion.
Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll go to B. And that says approval of EDC action from meetings of June 9th, 2015. Mrs. Ed, go ahead.
You do have your memo. It was quite an engaged meeting. It was very informative. Ms. Dalinda present a lot of information and the projects that are in line. You do have that item number 9, which shows all the projects that are already in the pipeline and actually under construction, some of them about to get started. Item number 6, which was the incentive and grant committee and the guidelines, and those were the ones that are being requested by our city attorney that they be approved pending her review. I know you all were present last night, and Mr. Jones, unless you have some questions, Ms. Guillen is here. You have.
No, that's fine, they've been answered already.
Very well.
We do need a motion to approve with the city attorney's review of the guidelines.
I also move with the understanding that item number 6 is pending attorney review.
Do I have a second? I have a motion by Mr. Ramirez, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We go to item number 3, and it's ordinances. We go to A, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2015-4, amending chapter 16, article 16, section 16-205, damage to fire hydrant, utility line, etc., to include the act of tampering with water meters as an offense of this article, and adding section 16-211, providing for a violation of this article. Mrs. Baez, go ahead.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is the second reading. If you all remember, we had issues with the meters, tampering, magnets, illegal connections. This ordinance will make the first offense punishable by a fine of not to exceed 500. Then each violation separately will be a separate offense, so those will be additional 500. We kept it at this amount, so those can be taken care of at municipal court and not have to go out to a further higher court. So this is much needed. Every month we come across the situations, and once this is approved, we can start enforcing it immediately.
Very well. This is the second reading of this ordinance. Do we have any questions or?
No, I think we already discussed this at the first reading, so
Yeah.
pretty much it's,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Ramirez,
Second.
second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We go to 3B, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2015-6, revising the vendor ordinance.
Mayor, this is the first reading. This ordinance has gone through planning and zoning last week. It got approved. It is a very thorough ordinance having to do with vendors, those selling on the side, selling barbecues, selling garage sales, selling, or standing in the middle of the highway, asking for donations. This will kind of regulate and provide safety for all citizens and protection of minimizing risk and liability to the city. I know Mr. Milan is here, and he has worked very hard on this ordinance. It is very thorough and comprehensive, dealing with garage, porch, and yard sales, prohibiting children from being on the right-of-way and on the highway, mobile food vendors, people, selling just everywhere, hot dogs, tacos, without having any type of regulation. We do, in the health sanitary methods, we have fundraisers and food place where you have organizations and nonprofits that sometimes request to have a barbecue sale. And there's others that abuse it and have it every day. Mr. Milan, I don't know if you want to add anything to this?
Yes. Ever since basically I started working here, I noticed that, there's a lot of people that go unregulated, chicken plate sales on weekends, or now, like Ms. said, basically some people do it every day. They go unregulated, especially religious organizations. They basically, our existing ordinance waives them totally from any and all inspections, so definitely we're due for this type of ordinance, which will allow us not only to regulate their times they can do it. This is not about denying it, it's about orderly manner. You can do it like 2 or 3 times a year with proper inspections. We know what type of food they're using, we know where they got it from, we know where, how they store it. Again, it's not about denying, it's about, we need to put them in an orderly manner, so that also businesses won't complain about them going unregulated at all.
And some have even gotten a little dangerous.
Yes.
I've seen some of the children stepping into the street to on fundraisers, and I'm not saying that not to do the fundraiser, but they do get a little dangerous at times. And one of the times it was, I believe, on a Saturday.
Yes.
I was going westbound, eastbound on Main Street, and the line was all the way back, almost here to City Hall. And I thought it was an accident that was going on. And by the time I got to the source of the situation, it was the light there in front of the school that they were doing a fundraiser.
Correct.
And even though there was no traffic coming out of Fort Ringo, they had a little boy pushing the button,
Yes.
to stop the traffic to be able to collect. And, the traffic was backed up all the way over here to almost the City Hall.
Basically, this ordinance puts us in control also as to know who's doing it, who's participating. They need to wear, safety vests. Do not to allow children crossing the median. Definitely a no for anybody under 10 years old, which I've personally seen right here by the bakery. The other day, when I was there, there's a child coming to pick up $1. Like I told PNC, unless you think it's a life worth to pick up $1 from a vehicle, then we definitely think this is worth.
Well, Mr. Milan, I know this ordinance is very detailed, I went through definitions and all kinds of scenarios. Let's say I'm gonna fundraise for a baseball team,
Yes, sir.
and I'm gonna ask permission from the owner.
Correct.
Can you walk me through how that would look, what would I have to do?
Good, that's a good example. You come to our office, you fill out an application, we tell you what the do's and don'ts. Of course, we need written permission now from the landlord, which a lot of times it's hard for them to say no. I know Mr. Smith here, he's like, well, I wanna regulate this, but I don't wanna say no, so this would definitely put it in place. Again, it's not saying no, it's about how many times are you gonna do it.
Right.
If you say, I want to collect for this type of activity, and then we come to find out it's basically every other weekend is that we need to.
And that's the reason I asked, because it sounds like it's a lengthy process. It's not gonna be, let's say on a Saturday and the code enforcement catches me doing it. we need to have a plan and explain to these people
Correct.
the first time, because
Yes.
if not, this is a lengthy process, it's like a 2, 3, maybe
Well,
several visits.
It does, no, that section that you just asked as an example, on the fundraiser and food plate sales, section 102-04, is, that's the portion that would be applied, not the whole ordinance. And under there, it's $75 per year.
Nonprofit, church,
yeah, and-
food vendor, the food plates is different, so.
again, even religious organizations, they can still do it, but it's gonna be limited, and it's gonna be orderly, they're gonna be registered, they're gonna be paying for a permit also.
Tax exempt status.
Correct, we will need to verify, not just drive a van that says, the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see some of those, search, when they do the fundraisers.
Correct.
They go and they clean their hands in a bucket of water.
Yeah.
I wanna buy that.
That's definitely, they will need to have permission from a nearby business or home where they can wash their hands, use the restroom, and do all those things that they need.
No, I think this is wonderful, sir, I'm just saying that we gotta be ready for the people to know this is gonna
Yes,
take
no,
a process.
obviously, we're not advertise, we're going to
Say-
educate people, this is
Very
not
good.
about issuing tickets, also regulating garage sales. This is about doing it, you can only do it 4 times a year, you pay a $10 fee. And we have your name, your information, where it's happening, not to allow any children going to the cars. And again, it is not about saying no, it's about
Right.
having control of these people doing it.
I don't know
every
if it's
day.
legal, but maybe dropping by the churches and explaining to them,
Correct.
so they're ready,
Approving this first reading, this becomes something out for the public. We'll put it on the website. We'll
Correct.
definitely put out the word and do an outreach to some of the local established vendors, nonprofit organizations, churches, just so they can have a copy and go through it. And if there are any issues, they can contact back Gilbert, and at the second reading, bring it up. We could also go a step further and have public hearings and invite them to express their views.
I strongly suggest you should know, where they're at, where they're located. Just give them a courtesy notice, that this is coming down, and if they have any questions, to, ask them there, because we don't want them, coming down to the commission, and asking those questions that you're all supposed to be answering.
As a matter of fact, I've talked to several people, including, business owners and the public in general, and they're all for it. They say, well, thank you for controlling this, I like their chicken plates, but I like to know where it came from, If they wash their hands.
Yes, and there's been also complaints from the private sector,
Yes,
from the restaurants.
correct, because they have to comply with all their building codes and sanitation regulations, so.
And
They-
pay
here you
sales
have-
tax and.
Correct. Now you have an entity that claims the waiver because they're claimed to be a religious organization where none of these regulations apply at this point.
And like with this, or like a garage, so just come in here, get a permit,
Yeah.
$10,
$10 fee.
that same spot right there.
Remember, have to do it only 4 times a year, that's it.
And we've seen garage sales that basically take over some of the streets where they're putting their things, and that kind of makes a hazard and danger to pedestrians, to vehicles. People getting off of cars and they'll go stop right there and block traffic and.
Correct.
There are sections where there's first violation, second violation, third violation. So it's a process, it's not automatically, we're gonna give you a fine. It's a warning, then second violation. We do encourage everyone to go through this. We did also distribute it to the departments so they could be aware. And this is something we desperately need.
Any further questions? Comments? What's the wishes of the board?
I move there, approve item 3B.
I have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Second by Mr. Ramirez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mayor, with your permission, I'd like to ask if we could go back just real quickly on departmental reports. I do need for our finance director to report to you on our sales tax because it has been increasing steadily. And so,
Sorry, sir.
it's just that I had this package and I was going through the list, so. Maybe we can go back to departmental reports.
Mr. Mayor, honorable board, if you look at the second, actually, I'll start off with the third page that actually has the sales tax for the current fiscal year. If you look at the first column where it says total deposit received in general fund, that is the actual sales tax for this fiscal year beginning October of 2014. So you see it consistently has been increasing over the past 8 months. That's just for the current year. I also went ahead and gave you a little more detail. If you look at the next page, you can actually see the trends in, well, you can go back to 1994, but if you just look at the last 2 years on the bottom of the page, one can see that the sales tax continues to increase every quarter, every month as well. There is a trend, if you look at the current columns in January is pretty much increasing, February keeps increasing. When you look at it going from the current year, it looks a little bit different, but the numbers are 17% higher than last year, and that's including, or excluding any oil revenue from 2013-14. This is just a sales tax alone is higher than the previous year without any oil. So, oil revenue. It's grown 17% from last year. Also, if you take a look at the.
I think that's one of our highest increases now that we've had in a while.
It has been steady, sir. It has been steady.
This last month in May, as you can see, the amount is 390. That's a very large amount as well. And then of course, if you look at the other columns, the allocation goes to the EC, the ad valorem tax, and of course, a large part stays in the city. Also, if you look at the second page, just the general health, if you look at the statement of combined cash positions, the non-restricted cash column in the first column, that's the amount in the actual bank accounts at Lone Star. And then the restricted cash accounts, that's the investment amounts at Logic and Textpool.
That's the interest only.
On the bottom, where it says investment report on the bottom, that's the interest earned for the current fiscal year. If you look at where it says general fund 1248, those are in dollars as far as interest. The restricted cash column on the top part, that's the actual investment balance in the Logic accounts. So, for example, the 875 in the first column, that's the general fund. And I call those restricted because we can move them if we need to, but they're actually stored there. So it's a very positive, healthy picture for the city. And based on those trends, I would forecast that the trend is going to continue into the summer as we have the back to school coming in August, and then we have Christmas again, and the holidays, they just prove consistent. We were unaffected from what is going on in the state as far as shale movements, people moving with the oil. We did do some pipeline jobs, but they didn't affect our retail sales. We still have a lot of big box sales occurring from our international friends migrating and purchasing on our side as well. So.
Overall, I do want to thank all department heads for working within their budget. It's been a lean year just in working with the same expense budget amounts from last year. So they're doing as much as they can with what they have, and so that's it. Stretch it, and they're doing it. So I do want to thank all department heads present.
Any other questions?
Any questions from Mr. Singh? Good deal, sir. Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to item 4, resolutions. A, discussion and possible action to adopt resolution number 2015-18, authorizing staff to open a bank account to be styled airport fund and to designate signatories for the same. Go ahead.
Mayor and Commissioners, as we move forward in our planning efforts and our economic development of the airport, we are applying for different grants and establishing 5-year and 10-year plans. And the airport will become an enterprise fund, and therefore we need to keep it with a separate bank account. We have high dreams for this. We feel that with the state loop, and La Cuenca, Burgos, and Tamaulipas, the additional growth that we're experiencing, the airport is going to become a major functional part of the city.
Activity is gonna increase.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Also, Mayor.
I have a motion by Mr. Ramirez, second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll go to B. Discussion and possible action to adopt resolution number 2015-19, amending the amount of a grant application to the U.S. Economic Development Administration for assistance with drainage improvements to the Arroyo Los Olmos. Go ahead, Ms. Rose.
Mayor and Commissioners, you just heard the report from Hollis Rutledge. They've been working on this application. About 2 weeks ago, they submitted a draft application to EDA. Mr. Jorge Ayala was prompt in reviewing it, and we had a conference call thereafter. Ms. Guillen was present, myself, and the developer, and was also present in the conference call. Basically, the EDA grant is to assist in this development with the drainage improvements that will protect public infrastructure, which is the road. The road had not been anticipated as being necessary, but in order to have these funds looked at favorably and considered for award, we need to have a public dedicated road. The construction of that road is what needs to be added. We had already passed a resolution for 1.6. This will increase the project to 1,915,000 to include the construction of that road. The road will be a street, a dedicated street, public street, and the drainage will also be dedicated to the city. These are conditions that EDA has placed, and we're following through. The engineer has been made aware so we can make changes on the preliminary plat, and we move forward. We have very good reviews from EDA. The turnaround is quick. And I think, like we mentioned last night in the EDC meeting, we're moving forward along with this project. They still need to have their FEMA conditional letter to be approved, and once that is done, we just start working on the project.
There's still a lot of legwork to be done and a lot of information that needs to be put into to this project. But this is just to get the ball rolling and get ahead of
Yes,
the
sir.
situation to be able to be ready if it does happen. So
Yes. I spoke with Ms. Rose Benavides. She's setting up a meeting with the developer. We need to work on a performance agreement so that when we get funded, that we have in place the agreement that will protect both the city and the development, and that we are in compliance with the federal funding from EDA.
What's the projected, when they're gonna finish the road there? When is it projected? They have a.
but it was
Más o
a
menos.
2-year.
Oh, with TechDOT?
Yeah, I don't know, if más o menos will be double, más o
18
menos.
months, I think that's what Mr. Fred Lopez said.
18 months.
15.
Yeah. 18.
That's including the bridge?
Yes, sir.
But we've had a lot of weather delays, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Quite a bit of it, so.
Anything else?
Just to clarify, this grant is 70-30 matching, so the city will be responsible for 30% of the grant if we do get funded. So just to clarify.
Yeah, this is a co-application between EDA, EDC, and the city.
Any other questions? Got anything to add?
When are we getting an update on the, I know I wasn't here last night, but on the update on the
Project
project, they're not supposed to have it.
Well, that's part of the information that we're still,
Yeah, we're gonna be requesting, I guess, like a meeting.
There is
Workshop.
in 2 weeks, they're supposed to come down to for the meeting with the Industrial Foundation, and at that time, we're hosting a meeting so we can start hammering out the details of the performance agreement. But as far as, them starting up, everything is pending on the FEMA approval.
All right.
This would just amend the resolution so we can submit the application, which is due Friday.
Very good. Mayor.
I have a motion by Mr. Ramirez. Second, and I have a second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll go to number 5, planning. Item A, discussion and possible action on setback variance request by Victor U. Barrera for property located at 506 East Main Street.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is, Mr. Barrera owns Party Extreme, just down the street here, a block away. I'm trying to work with his neighbors, trying to keep some of the noise. He's moved forward in trying to enclose his patio. You remember there were some issues with the noise. And he has gone before planning and zoning to request variances on setbacks. You have there the memo from planning department. The front setback would be 0. The rear setback is in compliance with over 10 feet. The west setback is 4 feet. We require 5. And the east is already adjacent. Mr. Roland is present, and this did get approved at planning and zoning. Mr. Roland, do you want to add anything else to this item?
I think, again, this is for the purposes of adding to the existing building. It's been approved by PNC, and the original idea was to have events during the open patio, but due to issues with the neighbors and triggering also revising our noise ordinance, they just like to add and have it, contained.
Has there been any issues since the last time we met with that other neighbor with the noise?
No, because they're not having any events. They're not private parties, but, again, the neighbors, the minute it's 10 o'clock PM, they call the police, whether it's loud or not, so. They've encountered these issues, and they just like to, instead of, having loud music in the open, they like to add and insulate it and close it properly so that they won't get any calls. Which brings to the future coming of the revision of the noise ordinance, that instead of guessing what's loud music as per existing ordinance, now you're gonna define what's loud music. You're gonna have a decibel reading item that says, well, if you're below this, whether the neighbor likes it or not, then you're in compliance.
What's the status on those, on the decimal readers? Have you ordered them, have you purchased them, what's the status?
Not yet, we're about to buy one because the planning and zoning commission table the item, they like to see what it's like instead of just guessing. They like to know what it sounds like, what are we gonna use, and then decide from there.
We need to, yeah, we need to get them as soon as possible because we have other issues throughout the city that need to be addressed, and we need to get that ordinance going.
Yeah, and reason being, you're right, because the existing ordinance, again, is just says loud music. Loud music might be loud for you, might not be loud for me, or vice versa. What defines loud music?
I think PD has already moved forward to purchase some of this. Is that correct, Lieutenant?
Yes, I think we already got some quotes from Walmart to purchase 2.
They'll be in place.
The point is, like Mr. Milan said, that what is considered loud? I mean, for different people, it means different things, so we need to establish that level.
Our existing ordinance does not define what is loud, and with it's not on this agenda, but.
So are you going to go and, look at other cities and maybe see what they have and kind of compare, maybe, so we can kind of also adopt something similar?
I think the Texas Alcohol and Tobacco also all have in their statutes.
Basically, when I copy or do similar, items from other cities, I usually use cities valley-wide or statewide at least, try to stay within Texas, to be in compliance with state statutes.
And even TABC will be able to enforce it, right?
TABC enforces it, yes. It deals with the alcohol.
Again, DABC, I personally talked to them from people in McAllen, Texas, and they said, well, yes, they do have their regulations, but they don't have any teeth, they leave it basically up to us. Again, we only have loud music. With the coming up ordinance, we're gonna define what is loud music.
Yeah. When will that come to the new one?
Next month, planning and zoning will review it the first week of July.
Yeah. Planning and zoning is gonna decide based on the actual noise, we're gonna maybe do some samples, we wanna put some music and put the reader for them to decide upon that.
Wait, Mr. Villan, like, we approve an ordinance, right? Let's say we update it or whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
You have different enforcers, you have code enforcement, you might have PD.
Correct.
How do we coordinate till we know that's exactly on the same page as
We've
far
had
as?
this in the past, and I get together with them, I usually, we've had the whole police department at once, and we say, well, this is what we have as ordinance, you know, this is where you can help us.
Yeah.
This is what we take care of, like permitting, issues,
Maybe I can come with something like a booklet, anything that they're in charge of?
Normally,
Give it to them.
what we'll do is, our monthly meetings, we'll have a guest speaker, and Mr. Mulat has been there, where our officers have the opportunity to ask any questions regarding ordinances.
Maybe like, I'm just recommending like a little quick reference with, like, they're in charge of certain ordinances they can have something, to make sure that we're on the same page.
Right, and they know, I mean, I personally share my phone number, and they ask me in case, now, I mean, obviously, we want to, share each other's information.
Right.
Certainly I'm available at any time.
So this would have to go to 2 readings also.
Yes.
First
Planning and
and
zoning,
then
first
first reading and then
and
the second reading.
Correct.
So it'll be like a month before we can get this going.
2 months.
Too much?
Be a while.
For a month and a half?
A month and a half,
Well,
you know,
we have 2
by,
days per
by,
month, really, in a
yeah.
month you get to 2 readings.
Correct. The next meeting, planning and zoning will decide on the, noise ordinance. Right after
A
that.
recommendation for us, to have a recommendation for us.
And we can get those anomalies to the planning and zoning so we can get this thing rolling because there's other issues throughout the city that need to be addressed also.
There's some other places that are complaining about loud noise.
Agreed.
I have a couple of questions regarding the building itself. I know that it's a situation that we've had in the past here in the downtown area where there's 0 setbacks. But my question is, it's a very unique facade on it, very different, but very original.
Correct.
And my question is, does this 0 setback in the front mean that they're gonna knock the fence down?
No, and I'm glad you asked me. No, the wall remains untouched.
Yes, I get
Okay.
The
that
wall,
remains.
the addition
It's
would be
behind it.
inside that
They
wall,
have to
but
do
what you
beams
see is
next
what
to
you get
it.
right there.
There's
So whereas the addition will be
no,
inside.
este
It's not
es la
even,
pared y este es el
there's
highway.
no additional weight to this existing
There's no
wall.
weight.
Okay.
First
And
of
the other question is, their facade outside, is it gonna match the original building?
Correct, they're gonna use similar bricks, not just painted or different,
And-
Very
and-
good.
And this is coming up before the Historic Preservation Commission tomorrow
tomorrow.
at their
night.
meeting
Yes.
for the certificate of appropriateness.
Was it approved by P&Z then?
Yes, sir. It was approved by P&Z on June 4th.
Have the planning and zoning, your planning department gotten any plans on it?
Yes, sir, yeah.
They have.
You have some of the, sketch there, right?
There's no weight on it. It's not, it's gonna be separate. Y no se va. Esta porque anda ya abierta. Así es.
If you notice in that drawing, you can see the beams inside that walnut, on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hadn't seen the drawing. Okay, very well. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
A motion, a second.
Also,
A motion by Mr. Salinas and a second by Mr. Ramirez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll go to item number 6, contracts and agreements. A, discussion and possible action to ratify the memorandum of understanding with the Rio Grande City Consolidated Independent School District regarding the use of the swimming pool for the Parks and Recreation Department Summer Program. Mrs. Betts, go ahead.
Mayor and Commissioners, we had initially approved a memorandum of understanding, and we then submitted it to the school, who took action on the May 13th. They had added additional language that had to do with insurance coverage. The limit was increased, and with the identification of the use of the building, the hours, the enrollees, that was included also as part of the changes. This program is insured through our TML insurance. Holly did get the quote, and we are covered to the specifications. A copy of the insurance was submitted to the school. So this is basically to ratify what was already approved with the additions that were requested from the school district.
Is the city responsible for the cleaning and the chemicals to the pool?
No, sir. We're only responsible to clean the restrooms and the area during the hours of operation.
Or says there on that bullet, provide the chemicals and clean the swimming pool, is that referring to the school doing that or the city doing that?
That's the city. I mean, I'm sorry, the school.
school.
The school. The second page of that's, yes. We do not have anyone on staff to purchase the chemicals and not have a pool on an inventory would be just for us to keep it a whole year, and it would not be feasible for us to get chemicals.
Got anything to add to it, sir? Parks and Rec? No?
No.
Everything's working well there? Everything's working well?
Yes, sir.
How many lifeguards? How many lifeguards were
We have 6 lifeguards. 6 lifeguards for like 3 or 4 kids each.
certified? They're all certified?
Oh, yes, they're all certified, as I left the monthly report there.
And a-
Certified CPR, AED, which is the automated external defibrillator. So they're good.
Do we have one of those AEDs on site?
Actually, we don't, we need to get one of those. I know some of the
Are we
kids.
required to have one on site?
I'm sorry?
Are we required to have one on site?
Yes.
Should we get one?
So, yeah.
The parents go and stay there, and they're watched while their kids are being instructed. I saw that this morning.
Anything else?
This is a ratification. Yeah, you have to move to ratify.
There's no other comments or questions?
Motion by Mr. Ramirez.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We go to B, discussion and possible action to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement for tax assessment and collection with the Rio Grande City Consolidated Independent School District.
Mayor, we've been requested from the school district to renew the agreement that we have for the collection of the taxes. They are bringing this up at their next board meeting later this month, I'm thinking. And this is effective for July, so we do need to take action. It's the same percent fee. I know Mr.
Nothing changed?
No, I know Mr. Science has been working closely with Laura, so everything remains the same.
Everything's the same.
Everything says.
So move.
I have a motion, second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We go to number 7, city manager's report, discussion and possible action to designate Laura Garcia, tax assessor collector, to calculate the effective tax rates and rollback tax rate for tax year 2015. Go ahead, Ms.
This is another housekeeping issue that we need to designate Ms. Laura to work on our tax rate calculation. It is something that we're going to need for the budget, so she can start working. She did present some preliminary evaluation figures. Because of the increase in some of the values that the appraisal district did, they've been having a lot of ARB meetings and hearings, so that's being contested. It's gonna be a little bit later that we get them We should be getting them soon, though, to start our budget process. But this action is to designate her as the person to provide us with the effective tax rate and rollback rate.
Very well. Nothing changed, Fatso, right?
No, sir, this is what we do every year.
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second motion.
second by Mr. Ramirez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Discussion and possible action to approve revisions to the personnel policy manual. Ms. Bell, go ahead.
And Mayor and Commissioners, we've been working on the personnel policy manual for like a year. We've met in groups of department heads. It's quite outdated. It still has language referring to Board of Aldermen. It then includes some of the federal policies such as FMLA. And we did provide this to our city attorney, who added some additional language on the maternity leave and also on the sexual harassment area. She did approve our dress code policy and also the FMLA policy, and some other changes on the recruitment. In the package, you'll see that there's some cross-out sections that refer to Board of Aldermen, which we no longer use, and will be changed to the City Council Commission, or City Commissioners.
So all these items have been reviewed by the city attorney, that's the recommendation.
Yes, sir, we do have an email from her where she has reviewed everything and everything is in place in order. The biggest change being the one for the FMLA, which you have a package. This is a federal law, and it's something that the record keeping has to be in place. As far as having been working with this, we've been following the Department of Labor regulations. In this policy, sets down the 12-month period being starting on January. If a person gets hired, they either have to have 1 year working and then be able to be eligible for FMLA or 1,250 hours. If they just started and they have to go into a situation that is basically FMLA covered, they will have to wait the 12 months. So
I notice this is more like a packet in the law and all that, but what does the actual policy state in our manual?
in the policy, it states that the city adheres to the FMLA policy and with the DOL regulations, and then it refers back to the packet. Yes. Basically, the stating that the 12-month period starts in December. And yeah, that's the only thing that we have to identify, because you can start on the budget year, October, you can start on their anniversary, you can do a rolling back, but the most that would be efficient and easier for one person staff member at the personnel would be the calendar year.
Very good.
We recommend, because we really need this, this policy manual.
Any question? Motion?
So move, Mayor.
Moved by Mr. Ramirez,
Second.
second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do we have executive session?
Yes, we do, sir.
Okay. Then, this will be executive session, as to chapter 551, Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, section 551.072. Back in, session, and it's, 7:34. And we'll go to, discussions, on executive session C, D, and E. And I'll, just read them here. It says, discussion and possible action regarding prospect 2015-1, 2015-4, and 2015-5. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we approve, Mayor, as discussed in executive session.
Very well. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Ramirez, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mayor, before we go to adjournment, I do want Chief to report to you on the disaster declaration, how much monies that we have incurred in disasters that are being reported to the state.
Right now, on the May 11th event that we had for floodings, all that rain throughout that week and the following week, there was a threshold that we had to meet with the county and other jurisdictions in the county. It was 213,000. Or supersede that, we already passed that as it is. Today we had a meeting in Zapata. We're doing the documentation as per departments of all the expenses that were done. Administrative assistant Ronnie Lanis and assistant chief Moniz are helping the departments. Tomorrow they're gonna continue. We got an email that hopefully by tomorrow at 5 p.m. we're supposed to be submitting. I did speak to the DPS individual that's in charge of that, Mr. Jose Alejandro. He says that we're good to go, our city. They're just waiting on the county to submit their letters, declare disaster letters, and also go out in some of the other areas. We're doing the public assistance right now through the county. Hopefully, as for what they found out is that they're gonna be doing individual assistance also.
That's good.
Maximum would be 30,000 per household, 31,000.
This will be countywide?
Yes,
Countywide.
countywide. So that's what we're looking at right now. So everything's looking
So
good.
individuals who sustained water damage due to the flooding, if they do any repair before or anything gets approved, they just keep the receipts and it's possible to get reimbursed as well, or no?
Yes. What's gonna happen is that, we just found out this today, so we wanna go ahead and start letting people know that any expenses that they're doing on their own, that they're more likely that they have to, they keep all the receipts and then they're gonna be doing the individual assistance. But anything over 31,000, that's gonna be on the expense of the owner. FEMA will probably provide 31,000. Anything over that, they're gonna have to cover.
Fantastic.
We were waiting on this. I know a lot of states and a lot of counties in the state have been approved for disaster, and as soon as they get our information,
There's 20 counties in the whole
counties.
state.
Chief, and how soon are we expected to receive those funds?
Well, right now we're in the process, we're still getting the paperwork, so hopefully maybe within a month or so.
Oh.
We're working
Still fast.
as fast as we can, trying to get all documentation. It takes quite a bit of time because there's quite a bit of expenses. Different departments doing different
assessments.
expenses and assessments and things like
The
that.
assistance that
So-
we disperse through the commissioners, county, city?
No, sir, normally FEMA funds through, once they get this paperwork, they'll come and sign a contract with the mayor saying this is a funding assistance you're gonna be getting. They fund 75% of the damages, the cost of damages, but they come and do a project coordination sheet with everyone. Just in our networking and our data, we are over $10,000 in damages that we got from that storm. Just
Yes.
just in City Hall, this is not including the damages we incurred at our lift stations and our treatment plant, so.
And as we go, this past week, we're finding out there's a little bit more issues that have come about. We're documenting all that, and we've been doing pretty good on the assessments that we do.
Yeah, my question was more in relation to the
Individual?
citizens.
Individual assistance?
Yes.
Yeah, what happens is that the list that was prepared by the different entities gets submitted to FEMA. They contact them individually, so the assistance does not come through any entity, it's directly with them. Yes.
FEMA will come down once, everything's assessed, we'll provide all the documentation, and FEMA will take care of dealing with those individuals on a one-to-one basis.
Very good.
Yeah, so this is good news because we definitely need to do everything possible to help those that were got affected. I just needed to
And
share that.
if you all, I think there was about 20 homes that were affected in
In
our
the city.
20 homes that were affected, 10 of them had more than 1 foot of water in them. And the other 10 also had about between 1 inch or 2 inches of water in them. So there was pretty good damage. Hopefully those individuals get assistance from FEMA.
We're ready to adjourn.
Any announcements that need to make? No? Nothing here? Good.
Just, we're ready to, anytime y'all need some questions answered, information, we're good to go.
Early voting started today, and it'll go for 2 weeks, and then we have the election day on the 27th. Just a reminder. And with that said, I'll entertain item number 9 to adjourn this meeting.
I suppose, man.
I have a motion by Mr. Bonilla, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.